always want to ask you, what's the last time you saw Pac?
I seen him in the bed, laid up, no words, no conversation. You see Jesse Jackson, his mama pulled me to the side. She make me feel like a real player. She tell me, my baby loved you, and I love you. And I know I went there, I hollered at him for about 20 minutes, and I went in the bathroom, I fainted, I threw up, and I never got a chance to, apologize, because me and my homie wasn't straight. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not even gonna be able to apologize to him, or even just to tell him, I feel you, I'm wrong, or whatever.
The story never changed until Afeni passed away, and then all of a sudden Afeni came and hugged me, picked me up.
Yes, and it was like we were talking about earlier. The truth doesn't change. If you're telling the truth, it's always the same thing.
And next time I get a call, niggas like, turn on the news, guys. I'm at Warren G house. We turn on the news, we see the yellow tape, Suge, BMW.
I was actually at Snoop's house recording, and he had chose not to go out there to the fight because they had just came back from New York, doing the radio circuit out there, him, Pac, and Suge.
Niggas like, turn on the news, guys. I'm at Warren G house.
I was actually at Snoop's house.
I looked out the house and Snoop was outside.
So he never went to Vegas?
He never went to Vegas. Then he had the Nextel back then. Remember the motherfucker?
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of Nextel he had.
Maybe the police should have concentrated more on death row, the Nextel phone bills, and other things that could have helped them investigate it more in depth.
Whatever it was hitting him all the way from what was going on from Vegas. So they was like, we could hear the shit.
I heard something over the Nextels that we all carried for security, and what I heard was, got him.
And then he started getting calls and shit, and they was telling him that Tupac got shot and da-da-da-da-da.
Right before me and Mr. Wright got in the vehicle to go get to the hospital, someone else came on the radio and said, hey, don't say nothing over the radio. I would definitely look more at death row than I would look at Mr. Anderson. And that's from what I've gathered when I was at New York, what I heard Pac tell Suge Knight, and what I heard over that radio that night after the shots were fired. Got him. But I'm gonna add something to that. We were also instructed to lie by Reggie Wright to Suge. And the reason we were instructed to lie was because Reggie Wright told us not to carry any weapons.
I think that it's cognitive dissonance, my friend. Even himself said, the bigger the lie, more people won't believe it.
It's very true. And I guess that's why they keep running with this Orlando Anderson narrative.
I mean, I've been thinking, maybe I'm like scapegoat or something. I just want to let everybody know, what I'm saying? I didn't do it.
I thought Orlando Anderson did it. It was the Crips, it was gangs and this and that. And that is the narrative that the police are putting out. And they're being accused of this, and then we want to take the police's narrative.
Since when do you go by what the police tell you what?
And not like Tupac was a fan of the police. I mean, how many songs has Tupac put out where he's talking about specifically crooked cops?
Claiming I'm a criminal when you the one that made me. They got me trapped in this slavery. Now I'm lost in this Holocaust, heading for my grave, G. I told Sam he could fuck the war and got a busted jaw for saying fuck the law. And if you wonder why I'm mad, check the bracket. What's a nigga gotta do to get respected? Sometimes I think I'm getting tested. And if I don't say yes, a nigga's quick to get arrested. That's the reason I stay tested. I keep a vest on my chest in case the cops are getting restless. And did you ever stop to think I'm old enough to go to war, but I ain't old enough to drink? Cops wanna hit me with the book.
Almost every single song on every album he has had, at one point or another, it could be a song where he's talking about his mom, he will throw in stuff about crooked cops. Is that all a coincidence?
Is it a coincidence that he also shot 2 off-duty crooked cops?
Exactly. Who had stolen a gun from the police evidence locker room?
Monday, Shakur went before the bench in a preliminary court hearing accused of shooting and wounding 2 off-duty police officers. Shakur was freed on $50,000 bond. As then Vice President Dan Quayle demanded that such music be removed from the record stores.
putting out and distributing a record and making money off a record that says it's okay to kill cops. I find that outrageous.
Yeah, I find it quite odd that the winds of change have blown to where Tupac fans now believe police narratives. I find that all quite odd.
See no changes, can a brother get a little peace? There's war on the streets and a war in the Middle East. Instead of war on poverty, they got a war on drugs so the police can bother me. And I ain't never did a crime I ain't have to do, but now I'm back with the facts, giving it back to you. Don't let them jack you up, back you up, crack you up, and pimp smack you up. You gotta learn to hold your own. They get jealous when they see you with your mobile phone. But tell a cop they can't touch this. I don't trust this. When they try to rush, I bust this. That's the sound number 2. You say it ain't cool, but mama didn't raise no fool. And as long as I stay black, I got a stage strap, and I never get to lay back. Cause I always gotta worry about the payback. Some buck that I roughed up way back, coming back after all these years. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat.
When I look at everything that's going on, the one thing I've learned, and it's been a pattern, I've never said this in any other interview or anything, a rapper by the name of Little Half Dead.
I was thinking of a master plan, cause all the time my mind be on loop, ready to knock me a suck out his boots from the coop. I don't play when it comes to my face, so when I come forward, nigga have it ready. Hold steady while I get my cash before I pop hot lead in your ass.
Snoop's cousin had allegedly given a demo to Tupac to listen to, and sometime after he'd given him the demo, Tupac released a song called Brenda's Got a Baby.
Now Brenda's belly's getting bigger, but no one seems to notice any change in her figure. She's 12 years old and she's having a baby, in love with them and her crazy, and your aunt also thinks that'll be with them forever.
And that Little Half Dead was upset because Little Half Dead thought that Tupac ripped off his song. And we say, okay, fine. Let's stop there for a minute. Okay, did Tupac rip off Little Half Dead's song? Well, we don't know. At the end of the day, we don't know what the tape was that Little Half Dead gave Tupac, but demo stealing was happening all over the place. Everybody was ripping off demos. And now, so you ask yourself, okay, well, wait a minute. Everybody saw Tupac write Brenda's Got a Baby. He's in the studio. He wrote it. Clearly wrote it.
What's up, man? Yo, I got a question. You know that video you made when that girl had that baby in the dumpster? Yeah. What inspired you to make that song in that video?
I was reading New York Post when I was doing the movie Juice, and it was this story. It started out to be this big story about this family who died because they didn't have heat and they left the gas on. Everybody died except for this girl. She moved in with her cousin, second cousin. She started dating her second cousin. He got her pregnant. Nobody noticed she was pregnant yet. And I was like, dang, and nobody talks about that. No young black males, no black males talk about black females like we should. We need to take more responsibility for our sisters, because if we don't, we will.
Okay, so is it possible that he ripped off Little Half Dead? Well, we say it doesn't really matter if he did or didn't. Little Half Dead thought he got ripped off.
Exactly.
Now, there's a big difference there, because the two can be compatible with each other. They're not mutually exclusive. Little Half Dead could have just thought that he got ripped off. But if he believes that, that's all it takes. Okay? That's it. And we also don't know whether or not Little Half Dead might have just been telling other people that Tupac ripped him off. Hey, I wrote that song. That motherfucker took my song. He could have been telling, and we have a couple of people that have said that was what Little Half Dead was saying, that he was claiming that somebody had ripped him off. So whether or not he personally felt it, or whether or not he was just telling other people that, we're not saying that Tupac ripped off Brenda's Got a Baby. We're saying that that's what Little Half Dead thought.
Exactly.
So, and people say all the time, they go, well, Little Half Dead's not that talented. He could never write a song like that.
That's not the point.
You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. You probably can't.
But now I'm back on the street, ain't no packing the heats, I'm packing the beats. And dope raps for the niggas that's crap, and guess what?
But he may still feel that he could and that he did. And that's at the end of the day all that matters. If somebody's going to go shoot somebody else, it's their motive. They are the ones that are going to give you a reason. It could sound like the most crackpot reason in the world. You don't have to have a good reason for shooting somebody. You just have to have a reason.
Exactly.
So Little Half Dead thought he got ripped off from Brenda's Got a Baby. So the next thing happens the next thing you know, he gets signed, he kind of lets it go, and he gets signed to Death Row Records.
First of all, I'd like to thank God. Second of all, I'd like to thank my whole entire Death Row family on both sides, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to tell Tupac, keep his guards up, we ride with him.
Well, that would make sense. He's Snoop's cousin, and the Dog Pound, they were all assigned to Death Row Records, okay? And that's just before Tupac. You know, hey, he's enjoying himself at Death Row, you know, he's chilling, he's doing his thing. And then all of a sudden, Tupac shows up. Two things happen when Tupac shows up. Number one, Tupac shows up. And number two, Lil Halfdead suddenly gets his contract sold from being on Death Row Records. His contract gets sold to Priority Records. Now, anybody that knows anything about the music industry knows that Priority Records was kind of like the B League. They were kind of like the junior league to Death Row Senior League.
Yeah, it's like getting sent down to the minors.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Great analogy. And Suge Knight didn't even know that Lil Halfdead knew that this deal had been done, but essentially he got sent to the minors when Tupac showed up.
To my niggas in the back, we out on bail. To my niggas in the front, we out on bail. To my niggas in the back, we out on bail. To my niggas in the front, we out on bail. Running wild through the streets like I'm loco. And fuck the police and they joke hoes. Got no love in my heart, cause I'm hardness. Popping out the bar in the park when I start shit. Ripping up the seed of the seed.
Well, to me, that's almost like adding insult to injury, because apparently, you know, and I can't say this is true, this is speculation, but just looking between the cracks, it would appear to me that if there was any hint of animosity between Lil Halfdead and Tupac because of what Lil Halfdead had alleged, maybe other people had heard it. Maybe they'd heard him complain about it. So Lil Halfdead's contract gets sold to Priority Records. So Lil Halfdead's going to be a recording artist for Priority Records and not Death Row Records. Well, if you're Lil Halfdead at that point, you've got to be pretty pissed off, because now you think a guy's ripped you off. You've made everybody aware of it. You may have told some people about it. Whatever the case might have been, when Tupac shows up at Death Row Records, suddenly you're kicked off the island. You know, you're gone. Well, if you're not already mad about thinking that he stole your song, you're going to be even more mad when you find out that you just got kicked off the island because of this guy Tupac.
Here we go! California, get up!
Out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. Soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing hoochie screaming. Fiending for money and alcohol, the life of a West Side player with capital and a strong ball. Only in Cali will we riot, not rally to live and die. In LA we wear chucks, not valleys. Yeah, that's right. Just in loafs and khaki suits and ride is what we do. Flossing but have caution, we collide with other truths.
You gotta realize one thing. Tupac is Death Row. I feel I have more than just a business relationship with him. He the type can be like a brother.